we got to address Blake Lively and Steve Sarowitz, who is the chairman of Wayfair Studios and Justin Baldoni's partner. He has spoken out on a podcast, and we'll hear from him. What he says is fascinating. You really get a vibe of who this person is and what they're all about. So we'll hear from Steve in a second, and let's break down the response. Justin Baldoni and his legal team of Brian Friedman and Ellen Garofalo and company, they responded to Blake's $8 million legal invoice. According to court documents, Wayfair calls Blake's submission overinflated. They claim Blake has failed to present credible evidence showing that she's entitled to the fees, that they're asking the judge to deny her request for these fees outright. Like, their counter is zero. She sued him. She lost. She should be paying his bills. And by the way, include the therapist and a nice little spa day for Emily, okay? Brian Friedman says Lively's fee request is so over-inclusive that it sweeps in fees for researching her own liability for perjury arising from her California civil rights claim and her Rule 11 motion. Brian also argued that Blake is looking to make Baldoni pay for work that goes beyond defending the defamation suit. He said this thing is bloated and it is unsupported. By the way, we knew this was coming, right? I mean, this woman is so desperate for a W anywhere, something she can point to save, from perception that this was a totally self-sabotaging, kind of ruinous endeavor. But yeah, wait till you hear what Blake and how you break down what she's asking for. This is her final straw with Judge Lyman, right? Her last chance for him to validate her bad behavior in some way. Managers, publicists, agents, on-set extras have kowtowed to Blake Lively her whole life, and now she just needs the judge. Forget all them. Give me something. Forget California Civil Statute 47.1. The author of the bill, Victoria Burke, who's been on Hot Mics, she's granted the judge immunity. She's saying, I represent all actual survivors, all people, who fear being retaliated against for coming forward. I represent all of them because I wrote the bill, and you're good with me. You don't have to give any sort of nominal fee to Blake, some little carrot, and don't be worried that us, actual survivors are going to get pissed at you, because I'm telling you, she's not one of us. Remember, Blake never called this woman. She's the author of the untested legislation. So this is like the first person actually testing the legislation out there. And Blake never calls the woman who wrote it. I mean, so listen, she's got no love for her. And Victoria said she won't be using Blake in their national campaign, to make this the law of the land in many other states. So look, Blake has been busted as a fraud, as a bully, a narcissist, a liar. All of which, let me say, I would forgive if she would own it. Christina, Blake is not a victim. That is true. Absolutely. Pop up your comments. We will take them. Harry is on the lookout. Blake's going to play the Glenn Close character in remake of Fatal Attraction. English Dick weighing in. He's got a big soccer game today, by the way, against Argentina, 3:00 Eastern. Here is what Ellen Garofalo filed in support of the Wayfair parties. This is their opposition to Blake's request for fees. And Wayfair originally asserted 9 separate causes of action. Okay, but altogether, the fee request improperly seeks compensation for work beyond the single claim. Friedman highlights that they used 82 different lawyers and staff, 53 lawyers from Wilkie Farr, and 29 from a firm called Manat. Brian argues that the amount of staffing created inefficiency and duplication. Blake only supplied qualifications for 11 of the attorneys. So 71 have no supporting biographies, and the court can't determine whether their rates are reasonable. She puts in 728.9 hours or $894,000 spent on internal meetings, strategy calls, partner calls, conference calls, and legal discussions. At this level, lawyers are screwing their clients at every turn. $894,000 for conference calls and internal meetings. Every time the guy gets up to walk to the conference room, those are transportation fees. Jesus. $905,000 in sanction-related fees, right? The way they had to handle frivolous claims, they say, by Brian Friedman. $529,000 for Rule 11 motions, basically for shenanigans they say Brian Friedman was pulling on them. $289,000 for spoliation sanctions, meaning they spent that much just fighting over alleged evidence preservation issues in the case, not on defending the defamation claim itself. Oh, God, this is very creative accounting. Hundreds of hours are hidden behind redactions. What is this, the Epstein files? 319 and a half hours or 361,000 for reasons redacted. Holy shit. They also billed for work unrelated to Baldoni's defamation claim, including affirmative employment claims, discovery, New York Times issues, Leslie Sloan matters, and other things which should be excluded. Leslie Sloan gets 10 grand a month. Okay? She doesn't get billable hours. And they billed, by the way, 185 hours of clerical work in here, like collating, stacking, busy office work that the intern does. She is stretching every which way to try to recoup an enormous amount of money that she blew. She's asking for $540,000 in expenses with no receipts, invoices, or vendor documentation, including $55,000 in unexplained travel, including cross-country trips in a block from New York to LA, social media commentary. I don't know how you bill for that. The big one, $173,000 to GBX Holdings. They were used to analyze the reputation and the media impressions, the website traffic, and the social media impact. GBX Holdings is the ones who pick up the phone and say, we've been monitoring the internet and your client is detested. Now, Baldoni's backer, who I think broke even, he'll be covered, but he was there the whole way. Steve Sarowitz, the chairman of Wayfair Studios and Baldoni's guy. He has spoken. Billionaire founder of Paylocity, huge company. It's where he got all of his money. He started Wayfair with Justin, a company to make movies that inspire empathy, connection, social change, like do-gooders trying to make movies that reflect good. Blake didn't just attempt a power play on a perceived weakling. She took on an entire faith, the Baha'i faith, an ideology based authentically trying to do something good in the world every day. Here's Steve on the Movie of Your Life podcast with Richard Roper, generally addressing the Blake Lively assault on his character and his company.
Well, I have told everyone who wanted to listen that Justin's a great guy. He's innocent of anything he was accused of. Jamie and Justin were both accused falsely, and we were vindicated. And so I'll say that. I'm happy we're through this. It's been very painful. It's been very expensive. I don't wish anybody ill. I just want to go on with my life and move on and past this. And we're thankful. I am very thankful for my Baha'i faith. That's really helped me a lot. Having faith is really important. And I really hope that those who are struggling with things like honesty and truthfulness can learn to be better people.
All right, here he is on the idea that very quickly it became clear that nobody was going to benefit from this entire saga.
We have made now, as of this year, it'll be 20 movies. And we do movies about people showing the nobility of every human being. And it ends with us as one of those movies. I don't want to be known for the controversy. I want to be known as someone who tried to make good movies and tried to make the world a better place. To me, the controversy was a lot. It was much ado about nothing. There really was no wrong done. The wrong was done to us. There was a smear campaign against us for over a year. There was a smear campaign against me personally. A lot of things were said about me personally, which weren't true. Those kind of lies bother me. However, let's move on. Let's move on. Wish everyone well. There's no reason to fight. We as Baha'is, we believe in peace and unity.
How authentic is that guy? Right? And I'm with him. Like, I still think if Blake Lively, you're going to kill me for this, but if Blake Lively came forward and said, okay, the gig's up, I lost my mind, I did something so terrible, I'm an awful person, I don't know. Little time goes by, I would admire her ability to even do that. Something. I don't know. I don't feel like anybody short of murderers, rapists, violent criminals should be put away like that.